Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird, true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 660, written by Anonymous Big 22. Gold from the Ether. I'm 20, male. So to put into perspective, my girlfriend of 2 years, 19 female, lost her mother unexpectedly 6 months before she and I met. Her mother and her were very close. They were practically best friends. Now, it's New Year's Eve and we're headed to her best friend's house for a party. My girlfriend decides to wear one of the last things her mother gave to her before passing away, a pair of gold earrings. At some point throughout the night, she loses an earring, devastated. We all retrace our every step and we do manage to find the backing to it, but no earring. It's now 24 hours later. I'm laying in her bed by myself with no clothes on while she's in the shower. I'm reading a book when all of a sudden, the freaking earring gets dropped onto my bare chest out of nowhere. I look around, nobody else is in the room, nobody else is even in the house, just my girlfriend mindlessly showering in the room besides me. I do not have long hair, and I was not wearing a hat. Absolutely zero chance it would stick to me. Case file number 661, written by OhNoImFarding. This had no business being the correct answer. This happened about 3 years ago, but I've been thinking about it a lot lately because of just how weird and inexplicable it was. Quick background on Cash Cab. If you know what it is, you can skip this bit. Cash Cab was an unscripted game show in which unsuspecting New Yorkers would find themselves answering trivia questions in the back of a cab. Depending on how far they needed to go, the contestant would answer questions that got progressively harder as the ride went on. The name of the Cash Cab driver and host was Ben Bailey. My buddy came over during a weeknight while I was sitting on my couch watching old reruns of Cash Cab. He sat down to relax as we both tried to guess the answers to the trivia questions given throughout the show. A little while into one of the episodes, from what I can remember, I believe it was 2 or 3 men that got into the Cash Cab. These guys looked a little strung out and like they partied a bit. Me and my friend, having a fricked up sense of humor, proceeded to make jokes about how they were on their way to buy OxyContin, prescription pain pills. The OxyContin jokes proceeded for about a minute or two until a new question had come up. The host, Ben Bailey, asked a question regarding an old king of England. May have been a question about King Richard, but I can't remember. The men were given time to deliberate, during which time my buddy and I said something like, "Yeah, Ben, we're gonna go with our previous answer and say OxyContin." Not even 5 seconds later, Ben Bailey exclaims, "OxyContin is right!" My buddy was still laughing. It had gone right over his head, but I froze in my seat. I said, "Did you frickin' hear that?" And I proceeded to rewind. I played it back for him just to make sure I wasn't crazy, and sure enough, he repeated, "OxyContin is right!" I still, to this day, have no explanation. It had absolutely nothing to do with the question asked, and there was no reason for him to say that at all. The episode is out there, and you can try to find it if you want to confirm. I have not been able to find the episode since, but I also haven't looked too hard. The jokes were regarding OxyContin, not Percocets. If anyone could help find the episode or point me in the direction of full Cash Cab episodes, I would greatly appreciate it. Case file number 662, written by oneidamojo. When death and glitches fuse together. This happened about 3 weeks ago. I had the day off work and my cousin Harold asked if I could drive him to pick up new tires for his truck. They were being sold in a town just over an hour away, and basically it was a 2-lane country highway straight shot all the way there. About halfway there, he points and says, "Hey, look at that house over there. It has vultures all over it. I've never seen that before." Sure enough, on the left side of the road was an old 2-story country farmhouse with 7 to 8 vultures sitting on the roof. There were another 3 or 4 circling the property overhead. Immediately, I blurted out that maybe they smell something dead inside and were just stared as we drove by. Anyway, we got his tires and it slipped from our mind. On the way back, we had the windows on the truck down when suddenly we got a good whiff of rotting flesh, and sure enough, we were passing by that house again, but we didn't stop and we went home. I couldn't stop thinking about it and I called Harold to tell him so. He said he couldn't even sleep as it was bugging him too. I proposed that the right thing to do was to go back to the house, get the address, and call it in to the police for a welfare check. What if someone else was dead inside? What if they had a family? He agreed and we immediately set off. Here's the problem though. We couldn't locate the house. We drove all the way to that town where we got the tires, then turned around and we couldn't find it on the way back either. It's the same road. It was like the house ceased to exist. There was no house, no vultures, and no smell of death that matched what we saw the previous day. We even went out and did the same thing the next day with no luck. But now, the more I think about it, what we saw made no sense. Although it was a country highway, there still had to be thousands of cars and trucks on it every day, not to mention police patrols. Surely one of those would have noticed a creepy old farmhouse with a crap ton of vultures on it and put two and two together. I still can't explain it, and it still bothers me and my cousin.
Well, hi there. I figured I'd give my case notes outside. It's a beautiful day, and I've never been on video before, so we'll just test this out, see if you like it. This is a big old Ben who just doesn't want to give me time to record, Ben. I'm working here. Hey. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Ben. Yeah. I like you too. Now, give me a second, okay? So regarding case file 662, when you look at vultures, they have great sense of smell and they can know when someone has died. So that you saw vultures around the house and then the house disappeared, was that an omen in your own life? I don't know if anyone in your life has passed away. To me, it sounds more like a perception glitch than a house actually being there and then vanishing. Actually, curiously enough, there was another glitch where there was an entire mansion that vanished, but it was only one person that saw it. In this case, it's two people. So maybe something in the area itself was causing a hallucination as a group. Mass hallucinations do happen quite often in history, which is peculiar. But what could induce it? As you say, it's a highway or a freeway where thousands of people a day go by. So if it happened to you, it would happen to a whole bunch of people. Maybe a whole bunch of people actually did see a similar mansion with vultures around it. Maybe not everyone saw the same thing though. My gut says it's either a perception glitch or you were perceiving into another reality where there was a house there and someone had died in it. It just wasn't in this universe. You were just perceiving through it. The reason why is unclear. There's some environmental factor, I'm sure, but I also think it depends on the person's brain. Your brain has to be wired a certain way where you're perceiving it. I don't know if that's genetic or environment, but either way, I've never seen anything like it. All of my life has been pretty damn normal. But yeah, that's it. Let me know if you like these glitches where I'm on camera.
Creepy file number 27, written by OhNoImFarding 465. The white van on my road. So this was about 3 years ago, and it still creeps me out. I was 18, female, at the time. I'm now 21. I was walking home from work at the local pizza joint, and took my usual route home. It was about 9:45 to 10:15 p.m., and it was super dark. As I'm getting about 100 yards away from the street I live on, a white van turns onto that street. Something didn't sit right with me, so I yanked out my earbuds and paused my music. I then turned down my street, and as I got closer to my house, I started getting a weird gut feeling. I looked up from my phone as I was about to text my roommate, who was out of town at the time, that I was almost home, about 15 yards or so. As I look up, I notice the white van sitting in front of my house, and the man inside is just staring at me, the yellow car light shining on his face. He had brown hair, glasses, and facial hair. His van lights were off, but his car was still running. I stopped and put my back to a tree in my neighbor's yard and just stood there, maintaining eye contact with this man. After about what seemed like eternity, probably like 5 minutes minimum, he starts driving towards the stop sign at the end of the road. I didn't put my back to him. I kept my back to the tree and maintained a visual on the van the entire time, until it stopped at the stop sign. He just sat there for probably 2 to 3 minutes, all while I'm not looking away and while my back is still on the tree. Finally, he turned right, the direction in which I had come from, and after about 20 seconds of making sure he or anybody else wasn't coming, I bolt to my house. I quickly get inside and lock the door. I go to the window and very quietly look through the blinds. I didn't turn on any lights because I'm not stupid. After a few seconds of looking, he drove back up and down the street and left again. Afterwards, I texted my roommate what happened, and then went to each and every one of the windows in my house to make sure they were locked along with the back door and garage door, and made sure to keep all lights off for the remainder of the night. I didn't sleep a lick that night. I was so paranoid at every sound or movement. Let's just say I never walked home after that.